Welcome everyone to Pop Goes Big Brother Canada. We're here with Julsy, and we have a lot to talk about this week that happened
Woo
in the
woo.
Big Brother. We have a returning house guest. Okay,
Yes.
we're returning house guest. Huge drama that unfolded. Totally flipped the house. We have alliances and showmances and so much more. We got so much to talk about. Julsy, we'll go down with everything in a couple of minutes. But how could you describe this week that's happened in the Big Brother house?
Oh my goodness. BB Can has gone crazy and I love every minute of it. It's finally, I
Yeah.
mean, it's really some major stuff happening in there. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's so great from a fan aspect. It's incredible. It's been going really well. I know we were discussing hopefully not having too many twists or too many twists ruining the game so much, but it's making for great TV, and we're
Yes,
gonna
it
get right
is.
into that. Yeah. All right. So the main thing is starting off with a week prior to we have a new house guest that came into the house. So we had the returning five that were evicted that kind of went through a competition to earn their spot back into the house.
Right.
Those five were Johnny, Neha, Risha, Cindy. Is that five? Is that math right? Five, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and Ginger Ninja. I forgot
Right,
about
right,
Greg.
right, right.
I'm
Can't
sorry, I
forget
forgot about
Lincoln.
Greg for a reason. Right.
First out of the competition. Yep.
Oh man, and yeah, I'm just like, okay, typical, right? So we have a competition, and the competition is very simple. It's almost like an endurance challenge. So they all have to hold on to their ropes. As certain time goes through the competition, they're not in the rope, goes down the pegs. They have to move down the rope, as Arissa says, okay, so much time has went through, time to move down to your lower end. You mentioned Ginger Ninja was one of the first to go. He's too big. They didn't look too flexible. Right away, we can see him struggling, and he was gone.
Yeah, that actually, I personally did not think that was a fair competition for, he's huge. He's a big, tall guy. I mean, he's a man. So
Yeah.
the and like on Survivor, they usually at least when they have competitions like that, they usually do like some kind of weight to the length of the rope and all,
Okay.
between the knots, and they usually make it sort of fair. And this time it looked to me like every rope was the exact same length, and it really truly, the girls had a way bigger shot at that competition, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, I just think, like you said, it wasn't that fair to everyone. I thought at least that they would have like just a quiz, maybe like a quiz thing, or like
Right.
something that maybe wasn't as physical of a
Yeah.
challenge. But that's what's great about Big Brother. You never know where you're gonna get. So
Right.
that was really interesting. So we were down. The final two really shocked me. I had an idea. I'm not gonna lie. I had an idea that Cindy with an S was gonna do very well. You can't forget that. Um, I thought she was gonna do well. I didn't think she would do as well as herself, and Neha did. Neha shocked me. What did you think about the final two? We were down to Neha and
Yeah.
Cindy.
I really wanted Neha. I did not want Cindy back in the house. But I mean, out of everybody there, I'm kind of, I hate to say it, but at least at least
Say it. I
I,
know it.
at least Cindy with an S is going to go back in there and stir up the house completely, which she's going to do. I think the other ones, would have wasted it. But if it couldn't have been Neha, then I'm glad it was Cindy with an S.
You know what? I'm in the same boat as you because as a fan, you're watching and you're like, okay, Johnny, maybe he'll go in and do something, but I can't
Right.
see it going that far. Ginger Ninja, I was like, oh please, like dear Lord, don't let him get in because, like, what? He's not gonna do anything either.
Yeah.
So as a fan, you're right. Cindy with an S, at least she'll go in there and she's going to go in there to win. She's pretty cutthroat, and we're going to go to that a little bit later on as we kind of dissect the episode. So I'm glad that she went in. So she made it back in the house. But the competition wasn't over yet for her to at least kind of get some more things in the house. So she gets in the house. She's told to go straight to the vault. And when she goes to the vault, she's got another challenge. She has to dissect and encrypt a code that will then hopefully get her to one of the little I guess mini vaults or boxes that are in the big vault room that she's in, um, to win a possible kind of vetoes herself, like so she can't be nominated for this week coming up. and she wins it. So not only does she prove that she's a physical threat,
Right.
she proves that if she gets right down to it, she can play a really great, strong mental game. And she's a physical threat and she's a mental threat in the house. So I thought she did very well. What did you think about that?
Well, from what it showed, the numbers and stuff she was having to work out in her head, I mean, she's got to be brilliant. To some of the things that she was working through, I'm like, I would have never got that in a million years. So I'm like,
There's
how
no way.
is this girl doing this? You know, so she has got to be extremely smart. So, you know, kudos to her. I don't know how she did it because, you know, like I said, based on just what she was like working through, I wouldn't have done it. I would not have been able to figure out what she was figuring out.
There's no way. And especially when they showed all the different variations of codes that there could be, and you saw that one screen of all those keys, that would, I don't have time constraint. I know this is going to get me immunity. And in that moment, I would just flip it. Like, how can you even concentrate in that moment? So kudos, he's like, kudos to her. She did a really great job. So she's slowly kind of winning me over. I have to admit, but we'll see. I'm sure she'll annoy me coming down later on in the weeks. So the best, so one of my favorite parts about this is all the different kind of alliances, if I can say / showmances that are happening.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's go there for a second. I am so utterly confused at all these alliances. There are so many alliance names. I cannot keep up. And I'm even keeping notes. I have notes and I still can't keep up. Oh my God.
I'm watching the episode there and I was putting in the notes, okay, what I want to talk about, you know, you put in point form. And then it said, all of these, I'm like, forget it. Like, by the time this thing's over, there's going to be, you know, Godfrey's going to have a showman. So the chair that's going on in the living room, like, you're not going to keep track.
It's all these, oh my God. I'm just to name a few. It's of course Chop Shop and then Newport. But then what the Hexagon Alliance? Who the heck is the Hexagon Alliance? and then the what was the other one? The Diaper Alliance. All the younger people. And
all the younger people.
What the heck?
What is how are you gonna keep track of all of this?
I don't know how any of them are.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if someone messes up their own game from thinking they're not remembering they're in a different alliance.
Right.
At this point, like, you know, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
And so a lot of alliances going on. The good thing about this is this kind of area of the house is there's so much happening. Well, like he said, there's all these different alliances going on, so it's really entertaining to watch as a viewer. So that's always a plus. I have in my notes here that there's a note that Jordan actually tells Cindy to make a couple alliance. So he tells her that there's Zach and Ashley and Kevin and Peely. So I think they kind of wanted to kind of get together, them two. I think that's when kind of Cindy kind of was leading them on and being, okay, you know, I've got you, let's do this together. But can we just talk about one of the POV competition that was this week, that Ant Maze that they had to go through?
That was
I thought that was amazing. I actually tweeted out and I was like, you know, kudos to Insight Productions and Big Brother Canada, because that was a really unique POV comp.
That was really cool.
Oh yeah, and it was simple when you think about it. I think a lot of times is when these competitions happened, a lot of people think, oh, you have to do something elaborate and it's got to be huge and big. It doesn't have to. The thought process of that competition was simple. They had to go through the maze, get those little pegs and pogs that were there, and hit the buzzer. And the fastest person to do that at the time won POV. Can we just talk about Ashley's time? If I'm misinformed, she had like 50-something minutes.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then, oh my goodness, what did Zach get it in, like 12?
Not even. I think he got it in like 4 minutes or something like that.
Oh my God. I knew it was like ridiculously short. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. And, you know, they call him Captain Canada. But he was just like, he was so long. He was kind of using his forearms and like was jolting himself like past little maze areas in that. But the one thing I didn't like, and as soon as I saw this, I was like, man, oh man, you're gonna dig yourself a hole. When Jordan napped and he threw the competition. But who in their right mind throws a POV? Even if you have an alliance with your HOH, this is the time to save yourself. Especially, no one else was there in the backyard. It was you against the timer. Dude, go for it. What's the matter with you?
Okay, I gotta back up.
Yeah.
Who volunteers to go on the block?
Yeah. We have to. We have to talk about that. I think I just kind of got it out of my mind because I didn't want to think about it. And you're right.
Oh my God. And then you're on the block. Okay.
You're on the block.
You're going to throw your only chance to get off the block.
And the thing that really peeved me about this was they're all considered super fans of the game.
Right.
How do you do that? If you're a super fan, pawns go home.
Right.
That's
Rule number one, don't volunteer. Rule number two, don't do pawn. I mean, oh my God, don't ever throw a competition when you're on the block.
Yeah. If anyone even mentions, I remember watching past seasons of Big Brother US, just because there've been so many of them compared to Big Brother Canada. But if even HOH at that time would mention to the room or to an alliance, let's say of big people, who wants to volunteer to go on the block just for the sake of the alliance?
Right.
No one puts up their hand. No one says anything because you want that HOH to make that decision. So right there, that was an X against Jordan. I thought that was a huge question mark, and I was just kind of dumbfounded as to why he would do that, because he seems like a really smart guy.
Yeah. Yeah, dumb move.
I think he just trusted Zach way too much, and maybe he was too charming. I don't know.
That has got to be up there. This got to be really close
to
being up there with Marcellus having POV and not using it.
Not using it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That has got to be at least, maybe not that far up there.
Not that much, because you win POV and you don't use it yourself. Yeah, but I would say that's
close.
First and second, that's right there. Yeah, that was, yeah. I can't even talk about it. That's just insane. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because I had kind of took that out of my head, because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't even deal with this. I can't comprehend it, so I'm letting it go. Yeah, just absolutely ridiculous. So he decides to sleep, take a nap, doesn't win POV obviously because he trusts Zach. In his kind of thought process, Zach ends up winning HOH. However, decides not to use HOH POV, decides not to use it on Jordan. And what were you thinking when they were going down, they were talking about, okay, what are going to be our next move in the house? You've won POV. Let's go through with the plan. And they're talking about this in the pantry area. Tell me what went through your head, or if you were Jordan standing there next to Zach and saying, you know what? No, it's not good for my game. I'm not going to use it. What?
Right. I would be literally telling him, if he did not use the POV on me and save me like the plan was, I'd telling him he'd be a dead man. Literally, you will be a dead man if you do not follow through with this plan. I mean, it was totally his demise. So
I would have pulled the Godfrey on him right then and there, and I would run all like mafia styles on him. Like, listen, you're dead, man. You just dig your own grave. No matter what I had to do to scare him, and then go and try to flip the house or try to get the votes for me. That was tough to watch, and that's just a perfect example. Is you cannot trust anybody.
That's right. That's right.
Big Brother, man, oh man. So going on after that is Cindy's now in the house. We see Cindy confide in Sarah and trust Sarah, and she starts telling her kind of information that she knows in being in sequester and getting some more information of what was happening in the house. I'm not gonna lie, Sarah's really grown on me. I didn't like her at first. I thought she was super annoying and odd. I just didn't take to her too well. But she's one of the more entertaining cast members that they've got in that house right now. She's come a long way, I feel, from beforehand.
Yeah.
So Cindy tells her everything that's going on. She says she kind of want to work with Sarah and she wants to kind of build that girl alliance. So she tells her about the chop shop. And then she says that she wants to go after Zach. So this kind of just fuels Sarah's kind of game plan. So you know what? That just kind of registered all my points. So I thought, I'm going to go after Zach.
Right.
And I think that's pretty cool to see that other side of the house and see that the girls are hopefully going to work tightly and strongly together.
Yeah.
Without the guys having no idea.
See, and that brings up another point I kind of wanted to just throw out there, because I kept thinking, like, in all the Big Brothers, before, and especially mostly Big Brother US, when people have been sent back in the house, they're all sequestered separately. They're never sequestered together.
Oh, okay.
So this time, Cindy getting all that inside information from everybody that's already, been evicted. I mean, do you think that's fair that they got that Cindy got all the inside information? I mean, I think it's cool that she went back in and like played dumb, that she didn't know any of that stuff. I think that was brilliant on her part. Yep. But then again, I'm like, how fair is that to go back in with all the information from everybody that's been evicted? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was funny actually that they showed that. I know it was part of the comp, and the final 5, those first 5 evictees had that chance to fight and go back in the house. But I thought that was kind of interesting that they had them in the house together. And you're right, like that gets a huge advantage for whoever that was going back into the house. And does that not ruin the whole flow and ruin your game if you're in the house and all like this almost month that you've been in the house trying to work certain alliances or play low, or wherever your gameplay is, it could possibly be ruined.
Right. See, and that's what I'm thinking. As far as the fans, we absolutely are loving it, because now the game is turning to exactly what we all want to see happen. But it's an outside influence, and does that ruin the integrity of the game itself?
Exactly.
So,
and many people will say that it absolutely does, because then it's almost like that's no longer Big Brother. Like, you can't have contact with anyone from the outside world, or have contact and no gameplay, and then you have a chance to go back in the house.
That's right.
So yeah, like you said, you nailed it. From a fan aspect and fan point, it's entertaining as hell to watch, but from them, it's not. Hey, for people that have watched Big Brother for the longest time, that's not really Big Brother. But we'll see how it goes down the line to see what happens. So we had that. Jordan, I have a note here. Jordan's comment with Godfrey and Zach when they're in the kitchen, and Godfrey was kind of saying, why is Jordan so, the way that he's acting, he's on the block. It kind of piqued Godfrey's kind of like set the alarms off and set the light bulb off in his head. And you can tell he was trying to keep cool eating that cereal at the counter, but you can just see him freaking out mentally in his head.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Godfrey picked right up on it that Jordan was not worried at all. Like, he's going on the block and possibly going home, and he was not even concerned in the least. So, I mean, I'm so happy that Godfrey picked up on that and knew what was happening, Yeah.
And that tells a lot to his character, because all these people were chosen because they are such super fans of the show, and you really haven't seen him doing much. He kind of lays low and just eats and whatnot, but and seeing him that he's able to pick that up, where so many other house guests, they're not picking up on any cues, body language, whatever it is. So that kind of was like, okay, let's not kind of rule him out just yet. Like, let's see how this kind of goes. And that kind of brings into the POV ceremony. He had one of the most, I would say, memorable.
That was beautiful.
One of the most memorable speeches for a POV ceremony. It was amazing.
Yep. So it was beautiful.
He pretty much tells Zach, hey, you know what? I hope you use on him, because you know what? If you don't use it on me, I'm gunning for you, and you're my next target, and I want you out of this house. And you know what? Kudos to him, because I've never seen Zach look more uncomfortable than I did him sitting on that couch, kind of biting his nails. Like, that was amazing. So I was happy that he did that, and I was happy that someone finally stood up, because early on in the game, it's so easy to kind of vote majority rules, and you don't want to ruffle any feathers, and you want to go with the house. But good for Godfrey. At the end of the day, this is a each man for himself type of game. And I'm glad he kind of had a backbone and stuck up to him. What did you think about that?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I mean, if I don't know if you remember, but Godfrey was one of my I think I named 2 or 3 of my favorites from the beginning, and Godfrey was one of mine. So I
Yeah.
was really hoping to see Godfrey step it up and, really make this game fun. And boy, did he deliver finally. And I think he said it perfectly when he said, you woke the sleeping giant. Okay. Because he's been sleeping for the first couple of weeks. And now he's up and at him and he is going to town. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I agree. And I really hope this just kind of ignites a fire in him and really kind of gets him thinking, I just hope it brings his gameplay level just so much more because of this happened.
Right.
So Zach decides not to use a POV, keeps the votes the same. There was a little glimmer of hope in me that I thought, okay, you know what? Be a man of your word, do the right thing for your lines, POV.
Yep.
Like just use it on Jordan. And put someone else up. You blindside someone. That's a chance for him to make a major move in the house.
Right.
And I just think it just shows how cowardly he was in not doing that.
Yeah. Well, and to me, Zach was like, he was aligned with every single person in the house, or so they all thought. So it's like, you really don't know where his loyalties truly, were at. So he finally drew a line in the sand, basically, because he was so aligned with every single person in there. It was like, okay, who's he really gonna go against? And boy, did he draw that line. So it's gonna come back and bite him.
It was fantastic to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. It definitely will. So we have that kind of episodes. We have Wednesday's eviction episode. So I like it how this is one of the points I wanted to bring across. Yeah, she was annoying. I didn't like her at the beginning. It was very easy for me to say, okay, this girl's just super annoying. I wasn't looking at we didn't see much gameplay from Cindy, but she went in and she's pretty much out to get Jordan out of this house. So she's really playing strategically for herself.
Right.
And she's trying to rally the house and let them know, hey, this is why you should probably get Jordan out now. Because D&D, naming all the, attributes that he's got as a Big Brother super fan and a huge threat that he could be. I respect from a Big Brother, fan point of view. You have to respect that.
Yeah.
She did in a great way where Jordan had no clue that she was even doing that.
No. And look, how many people across the world how about North America, wanted to reach through their TV screens and knock Bobby right upside the head? I did. I wanted to reach right through my TV screen and just knock him upside the head and say, you dummy. What was he thinking? It's like, okay, they are explaining this perfectly to you, and you are still wanting to be loyal to the chop shop. The chop shop is
the chop shop is dead.
Oh my god!
And I love it how Bruno had the candy, and he was in the. It's almost like he was talking to a child. He didn't even realize that. So I was thinking, okay, either this guy is really loyal, or there's not much upstairs that's going on that he can even trigger and say, okay, that thing's over. Let me side with Bruno and let's go this way.
Right.
Yeah. So that was definitely when speaking on some laugh out loud moments of the episode. One of my favorites is when Cindy goes back upstairs to the HH room, and I can't remember who she was talking to. I think it might have been Brittany. But she double checks the washer. She starts talking game. And she's like, okay, good. Kevin's not up here. So I'm like, she learned her lesson. She learned the hard way.
Right.
So she made sure to check going forward.
Make sure nobody's in the toilet. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that's it. So I thought that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like how Brittany actually knows a lot more than maybe they're showing on the production side, or at least that she's giving off, because she knows that Zach is trying to play the entire house.
Yep, absolutely. And there is another alliance name, the SSB Submarine. I'm like,
yes,
oh my god, another.
I had that in my notes. I literally just saw that in my notes. I'm going to show this on the camera here. I want to see if you guys can see this. It's right there on my notes.
Screen. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
This,
But I really saw that and I was like, another alliance, and I just kind of like rolled. I was like, I
right.
don't know. I'm not going to keep track of all these. Insane. Yeah, the SSB. So Sarah, Sydney, and Brittany. So they have
Mhm.
their own alliance now. So hopefully the SSB can. That's our guiding hope right now for a new, hopefully impactful alliance in the. Great that they're all female because I really do want to see an all female alliance.
Mhm.
Make it very far in this game. Big Brother, I don't know, just for Big Brother is just not the best avenue for an all girl alliance, or we don't really see that many go far.
No.
I think just because the guys are just able to, I don't know if they charm themselves in or they just kind of put them against each other and kind of work. I don't know what's going on there, but anyways, I hope.
My theory is men are better manipulators, but that's just my
You
opinion.
know what? I was gonna go there, but I was like, yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And you know what, girls? I know we spoke about this before one of our previous chats. Is girls are more cattier than guys, so
Oh
I
yeah,
think it's easier for girls to be. If I would go up to someone and say, "Oh, you know, so and so was talking this about you," I don't think it'll be a split second where they would even question it.
you're right.
They'll
You're
just
right.
they'll flip the script and be like,
And girls have their feelings, and guys are better at leaving the feelings out of it. But I do have to say, for Cindy with an S,
yeah,
selling her on showmance down the river, so I give her kudos for that. So
yeah.
there's hope for this girls' alliance, the SSB submarine. Maybe
I'm
that's the
hoping.
one alliance that will actually last this year.
I hope, you know what, I hope so. I hope so. And at least as long as Kevin's in there coming down the line, hopefully they'll be okay. Yes. So we have another new alliance. We talked about Bernie knowing that, hey, where Zach's going on this. The best thing we already spoke about, we touched upon as well, Bruno trying to convince Bobby to evict JP. Like just ridiculous. So the task that Bobby and Cindy had, I thought was pretty crazy, and we really haven't seen this in a Big Brother aspect. So they got a special task. The house kind of chose who they wanted to do this task without knowing first. So they chose Bobby and they chose Cindy. They get to be in the vault. They're locked in that vault for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
The great thing about that is there's 5 minutes, I think, to go within that 24-hour time period. There's two buzzers and there's a screen in front of them. Within the 5-minute mark, there's a chance where if they hit the buzzer before that time goes, they will win $10,000. However, that $10,000 will come out of the winner's pot. So whoever wins, they're going to be richer minus that 10 grand. And they both had to decide: do you take the prize or do you not? That was some really great TV. That was very interesting. What did you feel about that twist? Because Big Brother kind of has a lot of twists this season. How did you feel about that one?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was very what is the word I'm looking for? It's new, it's fresh, new twist. Nothing we've ever seen before. So I thought that was really a cool thing to come up with. And I can't think of the right word I'm looking for, but very enticing. Like they really had to think long and hard, the benefit, weighing the odds and the benefits of taking the money and leaving the game. And, so I thought it was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah. And leave it up to Big Brother.
Should have taken it.
You know what? If anyone should have taken it, at least would have said, "Hey, Bob." Oh, and with that, if they took the money, then they're out of the game. So they leave with the 10 grand.
Yep.
You know what? If I were Bobby, I'd be like, "Hey, let me get something out of this."
Yeah.
And but then again, hey, he doesn't know how.
He's clueless.
He doesn't know what's going on in the house. So at the end of the day, they both decided not to go ahead with it. But I loved how Big Brother locked them in this room for 24 hours, and in classic Big Brother fashion, they give them the last 5 minutes to decide.
Yeah.
If they want to use.
And look, did you hear? They had like 5 minutes before the 24 hours started. What would have happened if I kept wondering what would have happened if they hit the button immediately when entering the room. I wonder what would have happened then. But they didn't.
That's a good point.
They didn't.
That is a really
right, because they made him stay in there for a few minutes before the time even started. So I'm like, were they giving them an opportunity to automatically go in the room and hit the button to see what happens?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's interesting. Because it's like a kid in a candy store. You have a sign or something that says "Do not
Right.
touch." You're like, like I see
How
that
can
buzzer
you
there. I
not
know.
do it? Yeah.
How can you not?
But they
So
did.
as soon as they didn't, as soon as I
Right.
saw that, I thought it kind of reminded me of like a new version of a Pandora's box when I
Yeah.
first saw it, because I just
Right.
saw the
Right.
buzzer and I saw the screen and I was like, "Ooh, this could be
Right.
good."
Right. Nobody
But I
ever
hope
doesn't open Pandora's box, right? So that's why
you
I was
open it.
shocked. Exactly. Everybody opens the box. So I was really shocked when they didn't hit the button until they got the full instructions, to figure out, and then they didn't hit it at all. So yeah, I was pretty shocked.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is if production was like, go in the room, do not do anything until you get further
Right. They
notice.
may have been told. Yeah, they
Yeah.
may have.
Yeah. But you're right, man. If that was me, I'd be like, look, we're
Yeah,
going
what
for
is this
attention.
here?
Yeah, exactly. Let me tell you, if there's a Pandora's box, I'd be opening that in a second.
Yeah.
Um, so we had that. So that was one of the more heavy, intense areas of that episode. And then we go into kind of like a more lighthearted thing, because the live eviction episodes, they kind of like playing what the lightheartedness is happening in the house, kind of, get some emotional attachment to the house guests. So we have pageant 101 with Cindy, where she's teaching the house guests how to wave and do the walk and all that kind of good stuff. I thought it was hilarious. It looked like Kevin had problems even walking.
That was hilarious. That
Yeah.
was really, really funny.
So I thought that was pretty good, and I think it was her birthday that day that she was locked in the vault. I think I remembered it correctly. So I think they did that and gave her like kind of like a little comp, and kind of remember your big brother birthday. But I think she got gypped unless they gave her cake and celebrated and just didn't show it on TV. Because don't they usually do that if it's your birthday in the house? They
Yeah,
usually do something.
yeah, something. They usually give them like cake and ice cream and stuff like that, some kind of a celebration.
Yeah, I remember I think she mentioned she got something. Like she was thanking during the live eviction part, she was thanking Big Brother for, oh, I can't remember what it was, some materialistic things that she got, but yeah, but no celebration. Speaking of that, just to kind of, it popped in my head in terms of celebration, the most awkward birthday celebration in the Big Brother house at all, like all seasons, was easily Keisha. Do you remember
Oh,
that?
yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly the one you're talking about.
That just popped in my head. Everyone's fighting, and then
That was awesome. Yes, that was beautiful.
That was great TV.
Yeah, I love some Keisha.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I thought she's beautiful, and she was pretty. She was great in the house, and
Yep.
yeah, she's awesome. So we have pageant 101. Perfect. So that's kind of done and went over, and then we get into the actual nitty gritty of the eviction episode. So we find out that the person that will be evicted in that episode actually becomes the first member of a jury, and I thought that it was kind of early to start doing jury stuff.
10 jury members. I did my math.
Yeah.
10 jury members. How is that going to work?
That's right, because if they're going to be tallying up all the votes, what if there's a tie?
I do not know. And well, of course, Canada is going to get a vote.
Oh yeah, so Canada will get a vote. That's right. So maybe are they hoping for like good TV that whoever's in the final two, that it's so close that there's a possibility of a tie and then Canada breaks it?
Maybe.
Maybe so. I don't know. Yeah. But that's a big jury. That's a big jury.
Yeah, it is. It's huge. I mean, it's what they started out with so many. Usually they just weed right through them, and the one that Big Brother US had, where there were like 16 people in the house to start with, somebody was evicted before the game even started.
Oh yes.
Like, yeah, I mean, they were like booting people out the door like crazy, and Big Brother Canada is bringing them back in.
Yeah.
so that, I guess, a 10 people alliance is the way it's going to go.
I guess so. So
that was a cast. You got to have a big jury, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So that's interesting. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out down the line. So let's talk about this. So Godfrey first had an amazing POV speech. He had an even better eviction speech, saying, I'm tired of you sitting there playing Zach's game. Do work, people. This is Big Brother. You know, start playing for yourselves. Don't listen to one person and like do work.
Yep.
That was perfect because someone needed to say that. Like, light a fire under your asses. This is why you're here. You're playing Big Brother. You
Yep.
guys aren't here. You're not, you know, I know you're living in the house and you guys are connected and you feel like, okay, you're friends with these people now, obviously. But in the back of your mind, you got to think this is a competition. I'm not here to make friends. So I thought that was awesome. What did you think about that?
Oh my gosh. Did you hear the audience outside?
Yeah.
Like you could hear the
People were
audience.
clapping, like, yeah,
They were
gasping,
going
clapping.
inside the house and you could hear nothing but the outside audience. It was like, that is amazing. Everybody was so happy and screaming and applauding, and it was awesome. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was fantastic TV. It was fantastic TV. JP had a pretty good speech. He kind of mimicked what Godfrey said, and did it in kind of like a funny way, kind of making fun of himself as well in the process. I think he kind of knew his days might have been numbered though during that time, because I feel like if he thought he had a really good chance of still staying, he may have upped the ante in that speech and possibly went the Godfrey route. Possibly, because you know what? Let me ask you this: would you have gone the Godfrey route if you were JP and knowing that your person in your lines put you up, didn't use the POV, and this is your time? You're swimming out there, you know, without a life vest, and this is your time to kind of make it count. Would you go that Godfrey route and be like, you know what? I'm going after Zach. Keep me in this house.
Absolutely. I mean, he did the right thing. If I was Johnny, I would have not Johnny.
Jordan.
Jordan. If I was Jordan, I would have absolutely have turned on Zach. Like I would have gone around to the whole house.
Yeah.
I would have blown up his game. I would have said, look, this is what has been going on since day one. And this is what this MFer has done to me, you know.
Absolutely.
So I'm surprised that Jordan didn't pull out all the stops, and he really didn't.
Yeah. And it's very surprising. And like you said, I would have you blow up his game before the ceremony, so you at least give the people a chance, the house gets to vote in your favor. But during that 30 seconds, whatever it is that you get to give your final spiel, I would have rifled off. You better watch out. Hey, you know, so and so. I'm like, Brittany, you think Zach's being alliance too? No, he's got alliance with these people. I would have just ratted him out to every single person.
Absolutely.
You have nothing else to lose.
Right. You go back on our deal, I'm coming after you.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. So Sally, you know, that didn't happen. And in saying that, JP was evicted, but it was a close vote. It was a vote of, I think it was like 5-4. It was a one vote off. And pretty much Cindy was his deciding vote as to why Jordan left. But again, it was for her game. Yeah. And I think that was very smart.
Bobby. Oh my God. I can't believe they had to convince Bobby. But yes, thank goodness Bobby came around and smartened up a bit. Good Lord.
Yeah, I was I was worried about him because when he went into cast his vote, I was like, this idiot's gonna vote Godfrey.
Yeah, I was afraid.
He's gonna vote Godfrey. Yeah. So hey, Cindy, you know, good thing that Bobby didn't. I guess Bruno kind of was able to get to him in the final hours before the eviction episode. Yeah. So Jordan's gone. He's out of the door. He's pretty much in shock when he leaves. Have you seen the picture that Big Brother posted the day after the eviction episode in the recap? And it's all of them when they make the announcement. When Arissa's like, you know, Godfrey holds off
and
for like 3 seconds.
In the air.
And he's in the air. He's just like, yes. And you can see everyone's face. Everyone that's sitting on the chair is maybe like this small. And Godfrey is all the way up. He just has a major height.
That was a great picture. That is a great still shot. Yeah.
Amazing. And that kind of summed up the whole episode in that one still shot. So a picture says 1,000 words, and that's a perfect example of it. Yeah. And then so we leave that eviction episode into it's called the next episode they have for HOH competition. It was a student film fest, and students, I guess, kind of got some pieces of video together, those small pieces, and are like a distorted image in a way, and houses have to kind of buzz in and think what competition that came from. Let me tell you this, as much as we've been ragging on Bobby and saying, you know, he's just aloof and, you know, I don't think he's got too much up there and, you know, all that stuff. How in the hell did he know that one still with like a million little graphics around was from that particular competition. Was it a fluke? Like, do you think it was a guess?
I don't know. I lost the last 5 minutes of Wednesday night show. So I missed the very end. I missed the whole beginning of the HOH competition.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's all they showed was the one.
Are you telling me Bobby's got a brain cell in there somewhere?
Well, you know what? I think it might be a guess. So picture this. So picture the screen that you're seeing right now on your computer, and if someone had like shattered it into like 1,000,000 pixels, and it's kind of distorted, and the middle area is black, but slowly what's happening is those images are starting to come together. But he buzzed in within like 2-3 seconds of that one image on the screen, and he said what competition it was from. You couldn't make out a person. You couldn't make out a thing in this image. Yeah. So that's kind of like, hey, is he? Are we not giving him enough credit, or is he really just kind of like? That could have been just a shot in the dark. So
yeah,
I'd be interested to see what happens. So they kind of left us on that end. That's kind of we wrapped up for this week. So a lot went down in that Big Brother house. What are you hoping to see coming up in the next week? In terms of the house, or in terms of certain people you want to see maybe rise to the occasion, or certain alliances to kind of go through a little bit more?
Well, I mean, no matter who wins HOH or what happens, who gets nominated or whatever, that whole house is completely shaken up. So everybody's going to be scrambling, and, they're going to be forming new relationships and stuff because, the unexpected just happened for half the people in there.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting next week in the house.
Oh, for sure.
Where everybody scatters to. Yeah.
Yeah. To see what new alliances and like who distanced themselves from Zach, or what happens. I'm really hoping that this kind of brings Bruno and Kevin out, not into the forefront in terms of having a bullseye on them, but really steps their game up.
Right.
I'm hoping it doesn't put a bullseye on Kevin. I'm hoping that people then gun after Zach. Mm-hmm. And then Kevin can kind of lay low. I'll be interested to see, like I said, what happens with the SSB, Cindy, Sarah and Brittany with their alliance. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of interesting things that are going to come out of this, and it's going to be real interesting to see what happens the next week or so.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So we'll leave it at that. We've done our complete rundown and wrap up. It's already been 45 minutes into it.
Oh gosh. Well, I have to say one more thing really quick. Yeah. Really quick. Okay.
No rush.
As shocked, as absolutely jaw-dropping hit the floor as I was when I saw Willow and Sarah kiss, okay?
Yes.
And my jaw hit the floor on that one, okay? But then when I saw Bobby and Brittany spooning in the bed, oh my God. What in the... I would have never in a million years put those two together.
Nope. And who was that? I think someone was... There was someone narrating it, right? And they were showing just quickly, like in the house as the narrating was going over. And I remember seeing Brittany and Bobby, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, no, this might just be like a friendly like cuddle. Like, I don't know, is this a real alliance? They really haven't been showing that much of that.
Yeah, I'm like, I have one question for Rick, our next podcast here. Yeah. Does everybody in Canada hook up?
You know what? This season, oh my God. They're a bunch of horny kids in that house.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They are like totally desperate or what? I mean, it's like Bobby and Brittany. Really?
Really? Yeah. Like, is it kind of like, all right, a month into this, okay, hey buddy, like come over. Like, like, geez, their libidos are going crazy in that house.
Yeah.
I think the only person that's not hooked up with anyone is Bruno.
Yeah, right. Well, but Bruno's married.
That's what I'm saying. Rightfully married. So I guess Godfrey's the only.
I guess Canadians are loyal as long as they're not already, connected to somebody or committed to somebody. Then it's free game. It's free reign.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're really polite people, but then when we want what we want, it's free game. Then there you go.
Okay, just had to throw that out there. I'm done.
No, that's perfect. That's amazing. Yeah, so 45 minutes. It went by really quickly. So I'm happy that we're able to condense that much show. That much happening into that one little show. So we'll see you again next week here for Pop Goes Big Brother Canada. Again, keep an eye out for our social media links via Twitter or Facebook to know when we'll be actually doing the broadcast. It can range, it can vary differently depending on our schedules, but we try to make it out at least once a week here. Julsy, throw out your Twitter so people can follow you on Twitter.
I am at JULSY and the number 7. So that's Julsy7.
Perfect.
Twitter.
Perfect. And then you can follow myself as well at the Slickest Rick. There may be some slick Ricks on Twitter, but I am the Slickest Rick. And you can make sure to follow Pop Goes Culture as well on Facebook, and Rick, Big Brother Canada on Facebook as well. So Julsy, we'll see you here next week. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of entertaining things to talk about, and I can't wait.
Can't wait. See you next time.
See you soon. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.